Comment time! KenFin123 writes, thanks to today's episode, I was able to figure out that Griff is 22. Thanks to that comment, KenFin123, I was able to figure out that you suck at math. Let's take this step by step here. Yesterday I said that my best friend Mike Rowe would be 88 when I was 60. 88 minus 60 is 28. My best friend Mike Rowe is currently 49, so if you subtract 28 from 49, you get 21. I'm 21. Or for a much simpler method for figuring out my age, you could go to my channel and look next to where it says age. Although if you had left that comment 2 months from 2 days from now, you would have been entirely correct. Good afternoon, butt kickers. It's June 17, the 168th day of 2011, which means that 126 years ago today, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York Harbor. They still had to assemble her, of course, when she got here. Little known fact, the Statue of Liberty is actually comprised of millions of Legos. The construction team consisted of thousands of 10-year-olds, and the construction process was about 10% actual construction and 90% looking for the right piece at the right time. Yeah, we finally found that piece we were looking for, the 2x3 that tapers down to the 2x1. Turns out little Timmy was sitting on it. Timmy. Oh wait, which Timmy? Oh, Timmy 237. Here's a rare photo of one of the first designs of the Statue of Liberty, before they decided to go with a more classical look. Actually, the French designer of the SOL, Frederick Blablabla, originally pitched the idea that the entire thing be made out of connects. And that caused an outcry, mostly because the 10-year-old construction workers didn't want their fingers to start hurting within 15 minutes of starting to work. Interesting thing about connects, the length of the rod pieces, as they get progressively larger, each one is the exact length in order to form the hypotenuse of an isosceles right triangle with legs made up of rods of the previous smaller size. That of course means that as they get larger, the rods are 1/√2 times larger than the rod size before it. Anyway, after we rejected connects, Freddie Blablabla suggested Lincoln Logs, an admirable choice for its American background, but we wanted something that wouldn't blow over if someone sneezed next to it. So Legos it was. Boy, it was an awfully nice gesture for France to make that for us, you might say. Yeah, well, they kept a copy for themselves, too. And then just 4 years later, they constructed the undeniably phallic Eiffel Tower, which more than triples the height of the Statue of Liberty. They even made their fancy Eiffel Tower out of heavy-duty erector set. Trying to make us a statue out of connects. How typical. Well, enough of that nonsense. In other news, today is the World Day to combat desertification and drought. Desertification is, of course, the process of eliminating all food groups from a balanced diet and just eating desserts, and drought, of course, is a lack of water. Why they decided to lump both of those things in the same day, I'll never know. Okay, actually, desertification is essentially climate changes that turn normally hospitable environs into deserts. This is obvious because I can't imagine why anyone would be against eating nothing but desserts. Long story short, butt kickers, it's another Save the Environment Day. To make sure your neighborhood doesn't become a desert, start by taking some water and putting it on stuff. Then laminate every rock in a 5-mile radius. If rocks can't break down, they can't become sand. And you can't have a desert without sand, at least not a proper one. Also, take all existing sand and melt it into glass. And finally, ask the sun not to shine so harshly. He's a reasonable guy, I'm sure he'll listen. Congratulations, viewers, having watched that video, you are now officially dumber than you were before you watched it. Until tomorrow, I'm Griff, and I'm still talking.